Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
When you think about retirement, do you have any concerns about running out of money? Hey, it's all right if you do. It's one of the biggest concerns we all have, and rightfully so.
You don't say.
Running out of money in retirement. It's something you don't want to have happen.
You don't say.
They took a look at, they refer to it as retirement readiness, and across all different age groups and sectors, they looked at, what are your odds of running out of money? But they broke it up into years. So and you could see in their data, it's sort of obvious. It's not the first 10 or 15 years even of retirement that are the problem. It's if you do, in fact, live longer into that 15, 20, 25 years of retirement.
You don't say.
Who was it?
He didn't say.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the WorryFree Retirement, with offices in Louisville and Bowling Green. Your host, five-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Well, we've spent the last 4 weeks helping savers understand why we love annuities. Now let me show you why so many savers love our worry-free split IRA concept. Well, as we know, the financial jury has deliberated. All the financial pundits on TV, radio, and yes, even folks on the internet, as you just saw with their little cell phones rolling, are all of a sudden wise to the fact that as people live longer, their chances of running out of money spike. Want a few more examples? Well, here's an article that came out recently in USA News Magazine on May 30th, 2018. The title is, "What If We All Run Out of Money in Retirement?" This article cites a 2016 survey of more than 3,200 Americans from the firm Allianz. It found that more than 60% of baby boomers fear running out of their savings more than they fear death. Well, that's kind of a strange fear, but anyway. Then we have Transamerica. 2017, they surveyed over 6,300 American employees over the age of 18. They found, this was interesting, that 57% of Generation X respondents and 55% of baby boomers cite outliving their savings and investments as, again, one of the greatest fears in retirement. According to this survey, 47% of millennials are even concerned about this. The report also found that baby boomers have saved an estimated median income of retirement assets of $164,000. So, these so-called retirement experts really aren't helping us much with all these dire statistics and fears. As a retirement specialist, I've been working in this area for years. We've known this, and this is why we have the Worry-Free Retirement. But it doesn't stop there. Here's an article that recently came out, How Living Longer Will Impact Your Retirement with Older Americans Living Longer, basically talking about this whole notion. Miss Laponzi, in May 18th, 2018, same magazine, she's not much help either on this. Here's what she says after, I guess, years of research. Standard investment strategies may not work. Long retirements can also mean people have to rethink how they withdraw money from their funds. So folks, she's basically saying again here, if you're going to live 35 or 40 years, you could run out of money. You could have a problem. Welcome, folks, to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement. I am retirement specialist and fiduciary Tony Walker, and in case you've missed the last few episodes, we have spent a great deal of time on this very subject. How do we keep from running out of money? And of course, the only product that can do that is annuities. Annuities are the only thing that's guaranteed to last as long as you do. So get off the internet, quit reading all these mundane articles about all of a sudden people realizing that people are living longer and could run out of money, and stay tuned because we're going to cover something that I think is actually very simple, but my clients feel is pretty ingenious. It's a concept known as the split IRA concept. Now, what's unique about this is we use our Charles Schwab platform, we're going to go into this in detail in a second, along with our expertise of fixed annuities to do two things. Number one, provide maximum flexibility so you can use and enjoy your money now, but at the same time, with the annuities as a backstop to provide guaranteed income you'll never outlive. Folks, here's the thing. For the past 34 years, I've literally met face-to-face with thousands. I'm not joking about this now. We can document this. Thousands of savers. I have personally watched their lives play out. I've observed how much money they're going to need now and later. As my grandfather and my father both used to echo, I've also realized this in retirement planning. You know what? As we look towards the future, nothing stays the same. So no matter whether somebody's out there trying to predict the market or how much you can take out or don't spend this or do that, we need to enjoy our money. This is the philosophy of the worry-free retirement, and this split IRA concept is going to be able to do just that. So here's what we're going to do. Let me take a quick second here. We're going to come right back and we're going to get into the split IRA concept. You stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Win or lose, games are a blast, but playing around with your retirement is serious business. So don't leave your retirement to chance. Get a retirement game plan from well-known retirement specialist Tony Walker. Learn how to be worry-free in retirement with a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To meet in person with Tony, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
It only happens one time, and just 140 people can attend. I'm Tony Walker, inviting you to a free screening of the breakthrough documentary, The Power of Zero, The Tax Train is Coming, Tuesday, March 5th in Louisville. This shocking film reveals why you could be paying far more in taxes in retirement and how you can defend yourself. If you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, call to reserve your free ticket at 877-499-9255. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. Now that we've kind of taken you through our 5-step process, I think the key to that is to remember we handle everything. In fact, I like to kid around. It's kind of like boarding a plane to take a trip. You know, you hope the pilots and the attendants, they've taken care of everything. You just get in the back of the plane and ride. That's the way we like to make you feel. We will handle it all. Now, so you say, well, Tony, that's all well and good, but give me an example of what you all do over there to really help savers. Maybe you're sitting there with an IRA or 401k. Maybe you have a TSP plan or you're getting ready to get a lump sum pension. We do a lot of different types of investing, but our real expertise, I think we've actually have perfected this, is something I created called the split IRA concept. So I'm going to put this up full screen, and the purpose of the split IRA is as follows. Number one, we want the split IRA to provide you maximum flexibility, particularly in what I call halftime or the early years of retirement. Because let's face it, if you're getting ready to retire, you know what I've experienced over the years watching people retire. I've never retired, so I have to look at the experiences of others. But the feedback is, Tony, we have no clue what this is really going to look like, and I have to admit, I really don't either. Now, we can do cash flow analysis, we can do all the investments, but until you get into retirement and start walking around, you got to make sure that some of your money remains flexible. I mean, who knows how much you're really going to travel? Who knows how much you're really going to spend? Who knows if you might want to get into a hobby or some sort of, I have people, for instance, that get into showing cars. Well, who knows how much that's going to cost? So we want to have some of this money flexible, and the split IRA concept does just that. So let's take a look at this. Bucket number one. What do we put in bucket number one? Well, that's our Charles Schwab platform. Now, Charles Schwab is the custodian of the money. Charles Schwab is just like any brokerage firm. Some of this money might be in bonds or ETFs or mutual funds or stocks. But basically, we're going to have this either very conservative, or if you want to take a little bit of risk with this money, since we're not going to have all your money in this bucket, we can certainly try to be more aggressive with that money. But here's the key. First of all, in that bucket, people say, well, how do you get paid, Tony? Do you charge a commission for that bucket? There's absolutely no commissions we charge to set this up, and we only charge 0.6% of 1% to manage that bucket. Now let's compare this to the average money manager. Let's say you have $200,000 in that first bucket. That means we're going to charge 0.6% of 1% of $200,000 every year, or about $1,200. And on the surface you say, gosh, that's pretty expensive. Well, not for all the services we offer. We calculate your RMDs. If you have to do a 72T, if you need help figuring out when you're going to take Social Security, anytime you want to talk to me at any time, there's absolutely no fees for those types of services. So remember, 0.6%, this is for everything. Now, if you had to pay 1.5%, that's the average amount of money that the average money manager is going to charge you every year, you're talking about $3,000 per year. So in that example, that's $1,800 a year of savings, $1,800 a year in your pocket. I mean, I like to look at it this way. If we could save you $1,800 a year, that's money you could take a little trip on or do something for the family. That, again, is money in your pocket. So what about bucket number 2? Now, actually, we're putting this in its simplest forms. Outside of bucket number 1, we could have multiple buckets, but let's keep this real simple. Bucket number 2, and I learned this after 9/11 when I had everybody's money in the market, 100%, and we were rocking and rolling in the 90s, and they fly into those buildings, and my clients come to me and say, well, Tony, now what do we do? And I'm like, I don't know, hang in there. Man, that was real reassuring. So what I had to do is after 9/11, I had to find some sort of investment, listen to this, that was guaranteed, that was not subject to the stock market, not subject to the whims and the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride of the stock market. And I went back to my roots of the insurance industry. I love insurance because insurance provides contractual guarantees for clients' money. And where is that? That's the annuity. Now, I'm not going to get into all the different types of annuities. We do not do variable annuities. Those are the ones you hear about with the high fees. We don't touch those. Back in my earlier days, I did, but we don't use anything with high fees. What we use are fixed interest annuities, fixed indexed annuities, and immediate annuities. Incidentally, if you want to learn about annuities, there's a great guide that I have on my website. It's called the Annuity Decision Guide for Savers. You just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, download that puppy, and then talk to me personally if you have questions about annuities. But nevertheless, in this example, in bucket number 2, this is where we would put the annuity, either a fixed interest or a fixed indexed annuity. Now, why do we do that? Well, first of all, we want to have some of our money protected, right? Generally, it's 60 to 70% will go in that bucket because we want the largest portion of your assets protected. Remember, we're talking about savers here. We're not talking about investors and speculators. These are folks that want more protection rather than trying to risk money for more growth. Now, the beauty of these annuities, especially if you use one of these newer income variety annuities, what we can do is we can guarantee a rate of return. This is called an income rider. Now, these rates fluctuate, so as of the recording of this show on December 11th, 2018, most income riders are paying around 6% guaranteed. And again, don't rush off and get one of these. Meet with us. Let us explain these. These can get a little complicated. But the purpose of the income rider is to guarantee and grow your money. So let's take this example. As we look at this full screen, we see income coming out of the bucket number 1 spigot, right? You're taking money out, you're enjoying it, it's flexible, you can change it at any time. Our office will service this. You've got a point person in our office. You don't have to call anybody. Let us know and we'll get you the money. It's electronically transferred right into your checking. Now that second bucket though, what we want that to do is continue to grow. Or we'll make transfers to refill bucket number 1 if you want us to at no cost or penalties. See folks, there's many misconceptions out there about annuities and retirement planning, and a lot of the people that tend to not like annuities are people from Wall Street, which they don't sell annuities. Also, people from Wall Street don't understand the mind of a saver and how much, if you're a saver, you don't want to risk money. So we got the best of both worlds with the split IRA concept. We have flexibility, immediate income if you need it, but we also have that backstop that assures you that you'll never run out of money in retirement. So let me pose this particular question. Do you have a 401k? Are you over the age of 59 and a half? Do you have money languishing in the bank? Do you have a lump sum pension or TSP? Do you have basically an old annuity you want us to look at? Regardless of your situation, let us take the opportunity to show you in person how the split IRA concept might benefit you. It's easy to do. You just want to log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. When you click on that Let's Get Started button, that information is confidentially sent to our offices. Then we will arrange a convenient time to talk with you in person at either our Bowling Green or Louisville, Kentucky office, whatever's best for you.
Due to significant changes in the tax laws, taxes are now on sale. If you are over the age of 55 and have over $100,000 in retirement assets, now is the time to take advantage of this huge opportunity to attend Tony Walker's free presentation, Tax-Free Retirement, Tuesday, February 19th, right here in Louisville. Taxes may never be this low again, and seating is limited for this presentation, so register now at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
And now it's time for Tony in the Trenches.
Our Tony in the Trenches question comes from Mark out of Louisville, Kentucky. And Mark asked the following: Tony, should I be investing in gold or silver in my portfolio? And if so, what should be the percentage of those assets within my portfolio? Well, Mark, that's a great question. And to get some help on that question, let's turn to the late, great Burl Ives.
Silver and gold, silver and gold. Everyone wishes for silver and gold.
Great little scene there. But seriously, Mark, you know, last couple of weeks ago, we had the investment continuum spectrum. On the whiteboard, I kind of put the assets out there from the most guaranteed to the most speculative. Now, quite frankly, personally, I don't own any silver and gold. There's not a bad reason to not own some, but that does, Mark, put you down on the speculative side. Many people are holding on to silver over gold because they feel like silver, and again, I'm not a specialist in this, but feel like silver has more different qualities that could be used, and thus maybe the value of that silver may not fluctuate as much. Keep in mind, if you're going to buy a lot of silver, silver's in lower denominations than gold. You're going to have somewhere to stockpile it. So hope that helps. We don't deal in silver and gold, though, here. All right, we've been talking about this concept of the split IRA, the worry-free split IRA. And more importantly, since this is a retirement planning show, folks, how is this able to give our clients, the savers of the world, so much flexibility? Why do they need so much flexibility? And then how do we couple that with guaranteed lifetime income? We've been talking about all the articles out there and everybody worried about running out of money and all these different solutions. Wall Street is not really sure what to do about it. But what I'm going to do is first explain why you have to recognize that everybody is in different phases of life. Now, I call this the 3 halves of life. We have a nice graphic for this, but I'm going to actually kind of draw this out. So in my 34 years in the trenches, here's what I've noticed over the years as I've worked this long in retirement planning and more importantly watched all of these clients I have watch their lives play out. So basically if we divide this up into 3 halves, in the middle is the fun part, okay? Now don't hold me to these ages. It works differently for different people, but generally between the ages of 60 and 70, that's what I call halftime. This is the point in time where most people can enjoy most of their money. This should make sense to you. This is when people can travel. Maybe they're wanting to take up some hobbies or just do some things they've always wanted to do, fix up the house. And this is all good. Folks, do not let inflation scare you. People are trying to scare you with inflation. And while certainly inflation is going up, that's obvious, what I've noticed, okay, and again, this is by experience, when people get into what I call the second half of life, generally over the age of 70, again, it could be younger or older, what happens is, look at this, they start spending less, okay? So what if inflation's running rampant? If you're spending less and you've got a game plan in place that includes mailbox money for life, you ain't going to run out of money. This happened recently with one of my clients. This particular gentleman had lost his spouse. He was 80 years old at the time, and he told me, he said, Tony, I don't need this house anymore. I just want to go play a little golf and have a nice place to live that's safe. Well, this gentleman moved into an apartment. It worked out perfectly. He has since passed away, but what he found was the apartment paid all of the unnecessary expenses that came up. He didn't have to worry about that. He had a nice, clean place to live, actually been in the apartment complex. It was actually safer because there were people around in case something would happen to him versus being by himself all day at his home and something happening. So it worked out perfectly. And yes, we were able to kick in his mailbox money. He had no worries. So let me show you something real quick. This is interesting. Let's imagine we have 2008 occur again, all right? And Wall Street said, hey, everything will be fine. Just take out your 4% withdrawals or whatever else they're telling you to do. And in this example, we imagine we're starting out with around $313,000 in your 401k. Up until now, you've been taking out, in this example, $20,000 a year. The market's done great. You've got plenty of money. Life is good. But we have a 37% drop in the S&P. This could happen again, folks. We don't know that for sure, but it could. 2018, the last quarter, was pretty scary. It reminds us how volatile this market is. You need your $20,000. The problem is, look at this. At the end of the year, in this example, you're down to $184,000. This doesn't even make sense. I mean, now, and let's say you're not even in the second half of life, and you're going to rely on the stock market to hopefully rebound, and you're needing money. Doesn't work that way. What we do in this example with the split IRA concept, we use our Charles Schwab platform, okay? We are fiduciaries. I'm a registered investment advisor. Incidentally, this platform, most people out there, the other guys are charging 1.5% to manage your money. We charge 0.6%. We think that's reasonable, and that's all that you should be charged for a managed account, especially when we put that account in retirement planning. Folks, money management is different than managing money in retirement. We're not money managers. We're managing your retirement. That's totally different than a lot of these people that are money managers. You don't need a money manager if you're a saver. You need a managed retirement plan. And then on the back end of this, we have our, I like to call patented, technically it's trademarked, we have our mailbox money. So why wouldn't you want something that gives you flexibility to use your money during halftime, because we know that you're going to want to enjoy it, but as you get older and start spending less, why wouldn't you want that guaranteed lifetime income that makes sure you can enjoy and relax, yet not have the fear of running out of money? Well, if this looks like something you'd like to take advantage of and meet with me in person, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com right now. There is no cost or obligation for you and I to talk in person. Well, what does the Bible have to say about splitting things up or dividing things up? It's in the financial world, we call it diversification. But did you realize God does think division is good? Some really good stuff coming up. I got to get me a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. It only happens one time, and just 140 people can attend. I'm Tony Walker, inviting you to a free screening of the breakthrough documentary, The Power of Zero, The Tax Train is Coming, Tuesday, March 5th in Louisville. This shocking film reveals why you could be paying far more in taxes in retirement and how you can defend yourself. If you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement, call to reserve your free ticket at 877-499-9255.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement with the money missionary himself, Tony Walker.
All right, talking about the split IRA, the way we divide up this strategy with two different types of investments to give the saver complete flexibility. Also reminds me that whether you're talking about politics or money, speaking of division, this country is kind of like a split IRA. Man, it is very divided. And then, there's varying opinions on what's right and what's wrong today, and then even the investment circles, which is the best investment and which are not. We've always said there's no one size fits all, folks. There's no perfect investment and no terrible investment. It's the investment that's right for you. Now, the topic of annuities has really become a bombshell of varying opinions. Don't believe me? Just Google, "Are annuities right for me?" and watch what pops up. All of these unverified opinions about money and products lead savers to confusion. You know how I know this? Because I meet with hundreds of savers every year who share their frustrations about all this conflicting information and all this division of opinion, which is exactly why I created the Worry-Free Retirement Split IRA concept, so that savers can enjoy a simple method of using their money without the fear of running out. So we've learned that in man's economy, it's good not to put all your eggs in one basket, to split things up. And you know what? This is what we call diversification. And surprisingly, God loves division and diversification as well. In fact, Aaron, let's turn to Ecclesiastes 11:2. And it's interesting, Ecclesiastes says this: divide your portion, that's your overall net worth, to 7 or even to 8. Why would we do this? For you do not know what misfortune may occur on the earth. Just like your split IRA concept. God's word reminds us that you can't always depend on just one thing to kind of get you over the hump. Ezekiel chapter 45 gives instructions of how to divide up all the portions and sacrifices. God addresses this, and we know this also in Numbers 33:54. That's interesting. He says, "And you shall inherit the land by lot, according to your families. To the larger you shall give more inheritance, and to the smaller less. So there is a division of assets based on a certain hierarchy that God has. You see, folks, God has His stamp on everything, and what He is reminding us of is we must divide and apportion our money and our possessions as well. Yet it's just not about the money, for God warns that while it's good to divide our stuff, we must not be consumed enough with our stuff that we get divided hearts over this money. The financial world's job, you got to remember, is to take our stuff, shuffle it like a deck of cards, diversify it, and divide it. But we must not be consumed with all of this. Certainly we got to be good stewards, but not consumed. Look at what James 5:3 says. Speaking of our TNT earlier about silver and gold, James says, your gold and your silver have rusted. In other words, he reminds us that even precious metals don't last forever. So yeah, take care of your possessions, divide them up, be good stewards, but remember, don't let them divide you from your relationship to God. Jesus warns us of this in Matthew 6. He says, if you try to please man and God, you're going to be divided. And what's interesting, you'll either hate the one or love the other. Great words of wisdom from the Word of God. What about you? Maybe you're sitting there saying, Tony, I don't have anything divided up. I don't even know what I got. I've got all my money locked up in a 401k. I'm not diversified. I don't have anybody that's willing to sit down with me with your level of experience and just show me what I've got and what are some good, safe options. That's what I'm here for. For over 34 years, I've helped savers worry less about money, and I'd like the opportunity to talk to you in person, either by phone or you can meet with me at our Louisville or Bowling Green, Kentucky offices. It's easy to do. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Now, once there, I suggest you click on the Let's Get Started button. What's going to happen is that information is confidentially sent to our offices. We don't sell our information we receive to outside vendors. We will contact you, clarify what it is you're hoping we can help you with, either set up a phone appointment with me, or again, we will set up an appointment in person. Now, here's the best part. At that first appointment, we meet for about 30 minutes. You're going to bring in all of your financial data. We're going to sit down and talk, and I'm going to basically find out how we can help you worry less about money. The second appointment, this is what most advisors are not willing to do. The second appointment is I will share with you my 34 years of experience, my findings, and a personal assessment of your situation. You'll be able to take that assessment with you, study it, review it, and then of course if you have further questions or want to meet with me again in person, it's all absolutely free and there's no obligation. So take advantage of that now, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's program. We've enjoyed giving this information to you. Keep in mind, the next 4 weeks are going to be really, really good stuff. We're going to talk about how you can save on taxes in your retirement. You've been listening and watching the Worry-Free Retirement. I'm Tony Walker. You remember, between now and next week, though, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.
Thank you for watching the Worry-Free Retirement with Tony Walker. If you need a safe and simple game plan for your retirement, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and schedule a free, no-obligation meeting with Tony.